All right. How are you both feeling?
Fine,
Yeah,
thanks.
fine.
Okay, great. So this is our third and final panel. I know the audience is getting a little restless. So what we do as part of our Founders Circle, the Hatch Founders Circle, is tell entrepreneur stories. So like I mentioned earlier, we've heard from CTOs, we've heard from investors, and we want to also listen from founders on their entrepreneurship journey. What have they learned on their startup journey? So we'll kind of make this really interesting, very rapid fire kind of a panel discussion, very short answers preferably, right?
Yeah.
We want to leave the audience with some key learnings from your experience of starting a company. How did you come up with the idea, and what has been your experience so far? And hopefully people can take away some advice from this conversation. So I know I gave a quick brief about your company, but if both of you could take like 1 minute and pitch your startup. What does your startup actually do? What is the problem you're solving?
Okay. Datapare is a competitive analytics software. We are helping companies to be more competitive. We are giving information about their competitors. If they create a new product, if they create a new campaign, we inform them immediately. Then they can be more competitive with our software.
Okay. That's awesome. That's pretty short. That's great. What about you?
Reminisce helps you claim your photographs from photographers as you're claiming your memories from others that you don't know. Just using your face, it's an opt-in system. You show your face and it searches and brings the photographs that you are in them from the huge pool of photographers data set. And in a way, it's a cumulative, collective data and memory bank that everybody can claim some things. You don't need to even interact with the system. In some point of time, you can get all your pictures from back, and you can see what's your day or months past.
Okay, that's interesting. It's always, I'm always curious to know how people come up with ideas, right? Like, how did all of you get the ideas to start this company? Like, what caused you to create this company called Reminisce?
My co-founder, Özgür, he was here. He's a computer scientist and I'm a rocket engineer.
Yeah.
So I had a background in optical systems and image processing, and he has a background in AI and scalable online and offline softwares. So we both were pursuing something related to memory. He was doing a diary, online diary in 2015, before every diary here. And I was doing a personal calendar for just myself. And we were attending these events like this. So he keep pursuing this dream of him, and he get interact with 200 other people, and everybody said, I was one of them, if you bring me my pictures that I'm in it, it would make some sense as like a photo diary. And I said, let's do it. And we start like that. It's happened like more than 1 year ago. So it's like a memory bank that we want to achieve a human memory bank. That's
okay.
all.
But did you also look up and see if there were other businesses like this?
Actually, he sent me a link in 3 a.m. one night. We were chatting. He said, do you think it work? It was an internet site, mock-up, that's saying you can buy your graduation photographs. And I don't even know who took my graduation photographs, and I don't know how to search it. And I'm pretty sure it's not online, those photographs. And there isn't any possibility for me to search because someone should tag me or something. And he said, now click it and it will find the photographs with your face. It wasn't working. It was just a mock-up, but I just believe it works. And I knew that there wasn't any product like that in the market. I get photographed all around the world when I'm traveling, in theme parks, aqua parks, in events, and there are many places, museums, they try to sold me photographs. It's a digital product, and they really try to cheat you like $20, $50. And you want to buy it because you want to say, I was there, you want to remember it. But it's a funny thing that you cannot buy over internet. It's a digital thing. So I said it can be work because there are lots of things which happening every day in a face-to-face business-wise. So why not online?
Okay. What about you?
Okay.
How did you get the idea?
The idea, my answer will be short. Actually, I was working in another startup, and they couldn't succeed. So I thought that I can do it better.
Okay.
Then I started, but before start to develop, I visited more than 50 companies from Turkey, and I sent emails, and I connected with many people from LinkedIn, and I asked, and then I realized that idea was not good enough, and then I realized another idea is better. Then I started to develop this one.
Okay.
That's how I find this
Okay.
solution.
Great. How did you both come up with the names for your companies?
Okay. First, Datapare is very interesting because when I go to the company, there is a very similar name like Datapare. It's Datapare, Şekerpare. It's a dessert name in Turkey, and this is very good ice-breaking point because everybody loves that dessert. And actually, Datapare comes from two words, data and compare, and we combine these two words as Datapare.
Okay, that's so interesting. A lot of times, I'm so curious to know how they come up with names, right? What about you?
Actually, it's pretty simple. Özgür found it. Reminisce means remembering a moment, not just remembering. So he said if someone forgets the name, he can reminisce it.
Yeah.
So it would be a perfect match. So
Yeah.
that's why we made it. It's not a photo business. It's like a memory business.
Okay, great. A lot of times, entrepreneurs just name because they find their domains available. That's why they're just buying domains and keeping them, right? So you said you've been around for 1 year now?
Yeah, more than 1 year.
How long has Datapare been around for?
3 years.
3 years.
Yes.
And how big is the company?
Not big enough
Sure.
for us. We have funded 1.5 years ago, and our product, we have pivoted last year again,
Okay.
the second time, because we couldn't find the product market fit for our product. Actually, we were competitor of pricing.
Yeah,
And
it was mentioning.
because we tried to make automated matching system, and it was too high. The price was too high, and we couldn't make the product market fit. Yeah.
So it's
we
still
have
the core
changed.
team that you have, right?
Yes.
It's just founders?
No, we have 7 people.
7
and
people.
my CTO Baran is
Okay.
here. Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
And
What about you? How many people?
Yeah, we became 5 people.
Yeah.
3 co-founders and 2 other friends. And we were here like 1 year. We tried in the beginning B2B businesses, to going to events or brands to have a user interaction or event attendee interaction, UX something, to use the system as a paid tool. Or then we tried as a SaaS. There wasn't perfect market fit because we were trying to explain ourselves and people are not really liked it.
Yeah.
Then we concentrated in a marketplace, and for 5 months it grew like a 300% for the last 5 months in revenue. We became like 2K monthly revenue, and we want to go to like 10K in US in next 2 months, and we have a pretty solid baseline for it. We will be in New York, wildly used in gay parade events next month. It's like a biggest deal in New York and mainly in US.
Yeah.
So everywhere there is a pride parade, there will be a Reminisce photographer who work as a freelancer to sign in system. And at the end of the month, probably during the month, everybody will interact with the system.
Yeah.
So that's all.
That's awesome. Yeah. So are you a single founder or do you have co-founders?
I was single founder. Then Baran joined the team,
Okay.
and we are co-founders right now.
Yeah, I think both of you are co-founders. So tell us about that. A lot of, I'm sure, other entrepreneurs in the audience are probably thinking of starting up. Do you think being a single founder is good? Having a co-founder is good? Speak to us about your experience.
Okay. Single founder, don't be a single founder. I want to say that because very, very hard. I surprised because I was thinking like, I can do that. What is single founder? There is nothing, not a big deal. And when I realized it's really hard working job because you need to hire people, you need to develop, you need to sell, and you need to do marketing things, all working with you, and that's a big problem. And you need to find your friends on this way. Yeah, that's, I don't suggest that.
Yeah, what about you?
I think it's actually, I haven't been a single founder. I've done many projects in maybe in high school, university, in business-wise, when I'm in companies like Airbus, but I was always with a team. And Özgür was a single founder. He always complained about it.
Okay.
I think it's a really, really hard path.
Yeah.
And it's not about dividing the work. I'm like the chatty one in our co-founder group. And he's like the really concentrated person, and he helped me concentrate. And our third co-founder, he's like the perfectionist. We always do like sloppy business because it goes fast, but sometimes there should be someone who said, no, it's not good enough. So we kind of match each other.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Also, I think you've kind of found your core team of founders. How do you make hiring decisions? Like when you hire people, what do you look for? If you had to pick like one characteristic in people when you hire, what is important for you, each of you?
Yeah, it's the most important characteristic is previous success, I think, because if someone succeed on something, then he or she can do it again.
Okay.
Yeah,
so previous proven success.
Yes, proven success is my first characteristic to look for.
What about
you? For us, we tried for many times trying hiring process. Sometimes we weren't hiring, but we were just practicing to hire someone. And I think the first one, it can be like change, but persuasion of something, really putting your mind. Because success can be achievable for many people, but if they fail to keep going, it doesn't mean anything. And I saw this. There were like many, many good people who can do a business, but they decide not to do, or they're afraid. So I think the persuasion, and what I say is, some people put their head in the wall. I see some other people who put the wall in their head. I'm not joking. Like, there are someone here, Taha is one of the examples. Like, he literally goes inside the walls, and he doesn't listen if there is a fall, he just concentrated on making something, and I think that's the best quality for startup. And the second one be the group interaction. It's really important.
Okay, sort of like teamwork and all of that. Okay, great. Have either of you raised funds?
Yeah.
You have raised funds?
Yes.
Have you raised funds?
Yeah.
Okay, speak to us about your fundraising experience. We heard from VCs, so let's hear from founders about what has their experience been.
Yeah, it was hard and long process because we raised angel investment, and in what I heard from US and other countries, angel and seed investments are really easy in that countries, but in Turkey it's just like VC or Series A or Series B, because it takes time. 6 months, 9 months, and it's really hard because you are dealing with lawyers and everything. It was hard, but very I learned a lot of things in that process. In Turkey, investors are not very experienced, especially in angel investors. They are not very experienced. They think the investment just giving the money, but it's not like that. In Turkey, it's a little bit hard.
Okay, sure. So did you still raise it locally, or did you raise it from external?
Locally.
Okay.
Yeah, we have raised locally.
Got it. What about you?
Actually, we raised an Accelerator investment. And at the beginning, we were talking with an angel, which we highly respect. And I think he's one of the best guys. I'm not going to name him.
Sure.
And the only thing that we couldn't figure out, the valuation. And he was right. At that moment, we were like overvaluating. And after that, we understand. But the problem was that we didn't go pursuing the deal with him. He was unreachable. Every time we want to talk with him, once in a week, if we manage to schedule something, and one of the two schedules actually worked, we can chat with him for a few questions. So that was the turning point. And one of the accelerators that we came across, we talked with the ARDA Startup Bootcamp. Do you know Starters Up? It's somewhere close to here. So we asked a question. We didn't pitch. We said, we are trying to figure out this. And he said, okay, you should get funded from us. And I actually didn't understand what he meant because he was so fast. I said he was joking or he wants to talk. Next day, one of the members at Startup Bootcamp called me and said, let's have a meeting. But the point was, they understand the vision without us talking to them. That was really affected us. So we said, instead of getting $50K in some valuation, let's get $20K from them, which we can interact every day. Because we believe they can bring us to US. They had connections and they can be reachable. So we accept less than half.
That's so interesting. What I'm hearing is more than the money, it's also everything else that they bring, connections, network, learning, experience, all of that. That's great. What has been the toughest phase of growth in your startup? What has been really tough for you in terms of growing, or has there been a certain phase that you thought was super tough? Was it achieving your MVP, your market fit, or scaling? What has been like?
If you like, I can start.
Yeah, okay.
I think like we have like 5, 6 hardest phases, because after we pass every phase, the next phase seems really the hardest one. Every time, I always talk with friends and people who advise, and every time they return to me and says, Utku, last time you were saying it cannot be achievable, now you are saying this is not can be achievable. It happens always. Like first, to make it work, like technical wise. And the second was making work for everyone, to understand what people like and how they use. These were the cases. Then we figured out a KPI, and we want to make the KPI grow 30% growth rate a month. Then we managed this. Then people said, let's make money and grow it more than 100% a month. And I said, no, it will be really hard. Then we made it. Then I said, okay, now it's a marketplace, so we need to find photographers. I said, it could be really impossible. I was asking money for photographers. Now we figured out how to bring them really easily. So I'm figuring out what could be the next impossible thing.
That's awesome. That's the spirit of entrepreneurship. Yeah. What about you?
Actually, we are at growth stage right now, and we have few customers from Turkey, and we would like to make it more customers, but we don't know how to do that, because we meet these customers face to face. We made it with relations, and now we would like to sell to other customers. They don't know us. Yeah, that's the most hardest part of the growth stage. You need to reach these customers. They don't know you. You need to convince them to buy.
So probably your initial customers were all on relationship building, and now to scale and sell is becoming like sort of a great. Yeah. Okay. Is there one mistake that you will never make again?
Okay. I didn't start first globally. I started as local. That's my first mistake. And I hired wrong people for my team. And he poisoned our team, and 2 of our best people quit their job. That's the second most important thing. You need to hire people that fit your culture.
Yeah, okay, that's great, thank you.
I think we would do every mistake if we were in the beginning, because that's our asset. how many mistakes that we make that differs us from any other competitor in the future also. But I can also say every mistake we've done and figured out, we are not going to make them again.
Yeah.
That's a promise. So I think this is the challenge of being a startup. You have to make many, many mistakes. And the worst mistake that I'm afraid to not to be concentrate and focus. That can be done more than few times. Like you can always lose focus. And that's the biggest fear that everybody should afraid. Because it's not how much or how many hours that you work. It's how concentrated on the calculated success. It's not like guessed success. And how focused are you? So I think the focus or not focusing.
Okay. Are there founders, aspiring founders in the audience that we have? Anybody who wants to do a startup? Yeah, a couple of them. Current founders? Couple of them. Okay, great. My final question, and if there are questions from the audience, we can take it after this. My final question to you would be, what is your vision for the company in 5 years?
Okay. Actually, we would like to be a company that that makes the way of data collection and data gathering ways, because we would like to connect all data points, and we would like to give a predictive analysis to our customers, and we would like to predict what will happen next, according to previous collected data. We would like to do this.
Okay, great.
I'm one of the power users who we predict that everybody in 5 years will be feeling the same user experience and the experiences from Reminisce like me. And I pretty came across really funny stuff. Like my girlfriend exited the event with me and she tried to reminisce the photographs at there, but I said we weren't there. Nobody was using that. But she, without knowing, like from the gut, she tried it and I stopped her. What are you doing? She said, maybe someone used it. And one time I met with a guy and we were trying to figure out where did we meet. We both know we met, but we didn't know where did we met. I intentionally asked him, can you show us your face? Maybe you have a photograph in our system. And he had a photograph with me. We were talking 1 year ago, somewhere in some event. Then we remember, you were him. And in the United States, I've done the first photography myself. I was the first photographer 2 months ago. So I was in San Francisco, Palo Alto, then New York. When I just came to New York, I went to an event and said, I'm a free photographer. I'm going to sell photography to everybody. And many of the events accept this. This is our strategy, actually. They said, okay, do your photography. So I was like networking and doing photography. While I was explaining, use this app to get your photographs, one guy said, I used you. He was American. I said, no, you cannot, because if you used, I should know you. He said, yes, you know me. You were in San Francisco. So he was the first one who came across 2 times in different parts of the United States.
That's awesome.
And these kind of funny stuff happening every day.
Okay, almost predicting like what the world is going to look
like memory growth.
Yeah, that's great. Any questions from the audience? Cool. If there are no questions, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We really appreciate you coming and sharing your story. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.